All right, let's talk about a movie that, if you were a kid in the 90s, is probably burned into your memory. Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. Now, it was a remake of an older film, but this version gave our animal heroes voices, and in doing so, created this unforgettable adventure, all about what it really means to be a family. And it all kicks off with this crew right here. I mean, look at them. A wise old golden retriever, a goofy American bulldog, and a sassy Himalayan cat. Not exactly the pack you'd expect, right? But the bond they build out there in the wild, well, that's the real heart of this entire story.
Okay, so let's properly introduce our heroes, because each one of them brings something totally different to the table. You've got wisdom, loyalty, and just pure unfiltered chaos.
So first up, we've got our narrator, Chance, voiced with this perfect youthful energy by Michael J. Fox. He used to be a stray, so he's super impulsive and doesn't really get this whole family thing. For him, life is all about freedom and, whatever food he can find lying around.
And then, on the complete other end of the spectrum, you have Shadow, voiced by the legend Don Amachek. He is the total opposite of Chance. He's old, he's wise, and he is fiercely loyal. His entire world, and I mean his entire world, revolves around his boy, Peter. And that devotion, that's the engine that drives this whole story.
And you can't forget Sassy, right? The name is just perfect. Voiced by the one and only Sally Field, she's this pampered, witty cat who provides some of the best lines in the whole movie, usually about how much better cats are than dogs.
So you might be wondering, what kicks this whole thing off? Well, the adventure starts when their human family has to move to San Francisco for a little while. So they leave the pets on a friend's ranch, which, to them, feels like it's a million miles away from home.
So, how does this epic journey actually begin? Well, it's not for the reason you might think. It all starts because of one simple, fateful misunderstanding.
Yeah, it all boils down to this. Their temporary caretaker has to leave on a cattle drive. She leaves a message for the person who's supposed to cover for her, but that message gets lost. So when nobody shows up, the pets jump to the only conclusion they can think of. They've been abandoned.
And this is the crucial moment. It's Shadow's absolute, unshakable faith in his boy Peter that's the real catalyst. He just refuses to believe Peter would leave him. So he decides he's going home. And Sassy and a very, very reluctant Chance decide to follow him.
And just like that, they're off. They head straight into the Sierra Nevada, this huge, vast, and pretty dangerous wilderness. This is where the real test starts, and where they have to go from being pets to being a true pack.
I mean, this is not a walk in the park. They go from being these cozy house pets to legit survivors. They're dealing with bears, they have to survive a terrifying waterfall, and they even go head-to-head with a mountain lion. They have no choice but to rely on each other.
Okay, let's talk about the waterfall scene. Because man, this is one of the most stressful parts of the movie, right? Sassy tries to cross this raging river. The log she's on breaks, and she just gets swept away. Shadow and Chance can only watch from the shore, totally devastated, thinking she's gone for good.
But she makes it. In this amazing little side story, she's found downstream by this kind old woodsman who nurses her back to health. Eventually, she hears her friends barking in the distance and manages to track them down.
And what about that mountain lion? This scene is just peak teamwork. Shadow comes up with this genius plan to use a big rock like a seesaw. He acts as the bait, luring the lion onto one end. Then, with perfect timing, Chance jumps on the other end, launching that predator right off a cliff. It is awesome.
Okay, so the gang's back together, and honestly, they're stronger than ever. But the journey's not over yet. As they get closer to civilization, they run into a whole new cast of characters. Some helpful, and some, well, not so much.
And the adventures just keep on coming. First, Chance learns a very sharp lesson from a porcupine. Ouch. But then you get to see how much they've all grown, because they find this little girl who's lost in the woods, and they protect her. They stand guard until a rescue party shows up.
So for being such heroes, they get rescued by rangers and taken to an animal shelter. And this is the part where you're just yelling at the screen, right? Because to them, it's the dreaded pound. They have no idea their owners are literally on the way to come get them. So what do? They stage a daring escape.
And that brings us to the final leg of their journey, the home stretch. They are so close, but this last part might just be the hardest of all. This is the big emotional climax we've all been waiting for.
And this right here, this image just sums it up perfectly. They're out of the woods, literally, but they are not out of danger. Now they have to deal with the urban world, train yards, traffic, and they are just bone-tired and exhausted.
And then we get the scene that probably broke every kid's heart. In this muddy train yard, old, tired Shadow falls into a pit and badly injures his leg. He really believes he can't go on, and he tells Chance and Sassy to finish the journey without him. It's just, it's the absolute lowest point.
You know, it's that raw emotion, that moment of heartbreak that made this movie such a phenomenon. The story's blend of adventure and just pure, heartfelt feeling connected with everybody, and it became this massive success. It really helped define what a live-action family movie could be for the rest of the decade.
But here's the thing. Chance isn't the same dog he was at the start of the movie. He doesn't just leave Shadow behind. He waits. Finally, he and Sassy make it home, into the backyard. The kids hear familiar bark, they come running out, and we get this beautiful, tear-jerking reunion. But someone's still missing.
Peter just keeps calling for Shadow over and over, and your heart is sinking. The family's trying to get him to come back inside. And then, just when you think all hope is lost, you see him. There he is, over the hill, limping. And the second he sees his boy, it's like he gets this final burst of strength. He hobbles home. I mean, come on. Gets you every single time.
So, the movie ends with our narrator Chance looking back on everything. He's no longer that detached, goofy loner from the beginning. This incredible journey taught him what loyalty is, what home is, and what it really means to be part of a family. It's just a powerful transformation, and it kind of leaves you with a question, right? How far would you go for the ones you love?